if you just look up at the red rectangle, I'll just show you the various bits and pieces we're moving on to. So 14.1 is we've got to work out area of rectangle, area of triangle, and area of parallelogram. We're actually going to skip, well, we're going to do 2 and 3 in the alternative order, okay? We're going to swap those over. So we're just quickly going to remind ourselves about areas of triangles and rectangles. We'll have a quick look at parallelograms, but I want to then get us on to number 3, where we're looking at compound shapes. So that's going to be our number 14.2. So I'm just switching those two around. So I'm just going to go over both of those now, and then you're going to have some questions on the compound shapes. So as you all know, a rectangle is just well, area measures the space inside a rectangle. Our area is the space. So imagine these were floor tiles. We've got 4 in each row. There are 12 floor tiles. So if each of those floor tiles was a centimetre squared, that's 12 centimetres squared. But of course, the quick way to work out an area of a rectangle is just to do base times height. 4 3s are 12. So area is the space inside, and base times height. Now, if we were working out the perimeter, remember what perimeter means. That means the length all the way around the outside of the shape. So imagine you were running around the shape. You'd run 4 miles, then 3 miles, then 4 miles, then 3 miles. Okay, I think there's a little bit of a lag. I think I might just do this with a fluorescent pen just so we can see how big the lag is. So if we were running around this shape, we would go 4 miles. All right, across that, then 3 miles down, 4 miles across, 3 miles up. So if we were working out the perimeter, it would be 4 plus 3 plus 4 plus 3. Easy peasy. So that's a rectangle. So area, base times height, perimeter, the length all the way around the outside. Now remember the units. Area is 2-dimensional. So it's centimetres squared or metres squared or what have you. Whereas perimeter is a length. So that would just be 14 centimetres. So we've done a lot of that in first form. Now, parallelogram. A parallelogram is that shape at the bottom, okay? A parallelogram is when both parallel sides, both opposite sides are parallel. So the top sides are parallel and those slanty bits are parallel. Now imagine that top shape, please. Imagine that rectangle there. Then I go and cut out that red triangle in the corner. And I just go and plonk that down over on the bottom shape. I've gone from being a rectangle to a parallelogram. So what is the area of that parallelogram? Well, let's think about the area of the rectangle at the top to start with. Obviously, that would be 10 times 4, which is 40. Okay, that would have an area of 40. Okay, we've just done 10 times 4. So there's the same area when we move it down. So how would we work out the area of the parallelogram at the bottom? Well, it would simply just be the base of the parallelogram, but multiplied by its perpendicular height. Okay, that is the height straight up, not the diagonal height, that height straight up. I'm just fluorescent penning in with green. Okay, you were working out the height of that parallelogram. That would be 4. So the area of that parallelogram would be 10 times 4, which is 40. But you use the perpendicular height, not the diagonal height. And again, if you had to work out the perimeter of that shape, just add together the 4 lengths on the outside of the shape. So back to an easy one. Areas of triangles. Okay, now imagine we start off with the same rectangle. We've got 10 times 4 is 40, and we draw a line straight across the middle, and we just take half that shape. We've formed that triangle over here, which I'm just circling in green. So when we've gone and formed that triangle, it's half the area. Okay, so it's going to be half the 40, which is 20. So how do you work out the area of a triangle? It's half times the base times the height. Okay, So for triangles, remember to halve it. Rectangles, you don't halve it. And again, over on the right-hand side, if we were working out the area of that triangle on the right, it's half times the base times the perpendicular height. Again, it would be the height straight up, which I'm just fluorescent penning in orange. So that was just a quick reminder of what we did last year in first form. I now want to take us on to where we're going to be today. Okay, so 14.2. So the slide should just click over in a second with a bit of luck. There we go. So what we are looking at today is compound shapes. Okay, compound shapes. Now, compound shapes are what happen when you just go and add a few simple shapes together. So say we had to go and work out the perimeter and area of this compound shape. Well, let's do the perimeter first of all. Let's do the perimeter. Remember, the perimeter is the length all the way around the outside of the shape. So imagine we're starting running from the corner, which I've just popped a purple dot on. And imagine you are running around that shape. To work out the perimeter, you would do 13, add 5, add 10, and add 4 back to the beginning. So the perimeter is easy. Just run around the outside of the shape, adding up all the various bits and pieces. Now, what about working out the area of this shape? Well, what you need to do, you need to break it down into some sensible, simple shapes. So if we go and do a dotted line where I've just popped in that in green, we've now broken it down into a rectangle and a triangle, and then we just work out the area of each bit and add them together. So this rectangle on the right, on the left, sorry, would have a base of 10, a height of 4, and that would be 40. I'm just pausing because I'm waiting for that to shade. So that shaded area there, base of 10, height of 4, so that particular bit has got an area of 40. Now let's go and have a look at the triangle on the right, and secondly we're going to work out the area of that triangle. Now we need to do base times height, so here's where you've got to be a bit clever. Obviously that length there that I'm just doing in orange, you'll see in a second when it comes through, that length is the same as over on the left, which is 4. But what's that length of the triangle at the top that I'm just doing it orange, just come through there? What is that length of the bit that I'm just about to circle in a red fluorescent pen? What is that length there? So you just have to be smart. You can see the length all the way along the top is 13, but part way along the bottom is 10. So just wait for that 13 and the 10 to be circled. There we go. So that little bit circled on the right in red has to be the difference between 13 and 10, which is going to be 3. So that length there is 3. So let me just go and hook out that triangle on the side for us to have a look at. So the base, that length is 4, that length is 3. How do you work out an area of a triangle? It's half times base times height. So half times 4 times 3, 3 4s are 12. Half that, you get 6. So the area of that triangle is 6. So what is the total area of the whole of the compound shape? I take the 40 area of the rectangle, I add it to the 6 of the triangle to give me 46. Just wait for that to click through. Right, so see, Henry Anderson's already gone off and made a start, and he's got the first 2 wrong. That's what happens when you start without me. Henry W started and got the first two wrong. Douglas May started and got the first one wrong. Please don't start them until the teaching's finished, please. Right, okay, so a few tips. All right, we won't do these in detail, but a few tips. So just look at this question, the next one here. All right, I'm just going to break it down and just give you a few overviews. So something like that, break it down into a rectangle, and a triangle. Rectangle, rectangle, triangle, and just go and add the three bits together. Remember, when you're working out the triangle, it's base, half times base times height. Next one. Now, this one here, that's just coming through here, you could go and decide to break it down into three rectangles, and that would be absolutely fine. You could pop those lines in there and work out the area of those three rectangles. So that's fine. You're very welcome to do that. But alternatively, you might be clever and go and say, if you worked out the area of the whole of the shape, the whole of the thing, it would be 10 times 12, which is 120. And then just take away that little bit that you don't want. Take away that little bit in orange. So a little bit in orange is 6. Now that's not part of the shape. So a quick way to get that answer would be to take away that bit. Right, so that's just a little tip. The same with the next one. If you got a question looking like this, I would very much suggest you go and work out the area as if you didn't have that bike taken out. So you worked out the area of the square, which would be 144, and then just take away that little unwanted piece, that little bit in there. Take that away. Take away that triangle, which is 3 by 5. The area of that triangle is half times 3 times 5, which is 7.5. So the total area of that shape would be 144. Take away 7.5. So guys, thank you for staying with the lesson and not rushing off to get the questions wrong. Okay, that is the end of the teaching. So please do now go over and make a start on the questions on Dr. Frost. As always, the worksheet is attached to where I've scheduled the lesson. So it would be a good idea to run off the worksheet in advance of the lesson, or now if you haven't done that already. And as always, once I've stopped the recording, I will be on hand to answer any questions, and I'll be here throughout the lesson, okay? And I'll be sharing my screen. So if you need any help, just unmute and ask me for a hand.